Enibeyen onile loko. Esiku dede asiku yi. Hello everyone, it's Adironke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'd like to teach you how to say will in combination with different pronouns and in different dialects. So how to say I will, he or she or it will, you will, we will, you will in the plural sense, and they will in different dialects. And why? Why am I doing that? Why do I intend to do that? What for? Well, it's for the iwure that I intend to do. Most especially, I mean, it's good that you know how to say I will, you know, or you will, or she will, or they will. I think a significant number of our sentences, especially common sentences or common just manners of talking, start that way. But most importantly, it's for the prayers. The prayers typically go, I will be this, or I will do this. The iwure, positive wishes, or you will be this, or you will do this. Like I will be successful will start with I will. You will have a safe trip will start with you will. Or on the other hand, it would be you will not. When you're trying to let's say someone feels that they might die and you say you will not die, they will not die, that would be the other side to it, and that I will treat separately. You know, that is when you want to curb a bad thing from happening. You will not die. Let's say someone feels like they might die, you will not die, you will not be poor, you will not. But most of the time when you're praying for something or hoping that something would be the case, you'd say you will, they will. So this is really important. I'm going to be teaching a variety of prayers, but I'll only be doing one pronoun. Like I won't be covering each pronoun. Oh, this is how you say it if you're praying for yourself. This is how you will say it if you're praying for somebody to their face. This is how you will say it if you're praying for somebody when they're not there. It would make the videos terribly long, terribly. But once I tell you how to say I will, you will, they will, you know, then the rest will be, it will be easy for you to replace certain pronouns with the ones that you want. So in certain cases, if you don't intend to pray for yourself and you don't want to say I will be successful, you would know just what to say to replace the I with when I make videos like that. So, you know, it's really important. And why am I doing dialects? Why do I want to introduce dialects to you? Well, different dialects, just so that you're familiar with them. Well, I know that the way that we would say verbs is pretty similar, with many verbs across dialects within the Yoruba culture. We almost always say our verbs the same way. Like there are differences for sure with pronunciations and all that, but the words themselves are the same. So I know that with verbs you may not have too much trouble, but well, let me just say this is especially for those who will be traveling to Nigeria for, let's say, spirituality related reasons. Once you alight in Lagos, let's say you're going to Ijebu, or where else do I know that people go to often, or Abeokuta, or you're staying within Eko, Lagos, or you're going to your state, Ibadan, or your city itself, or your town itself, the ancient Oyo Kingdom, which is now regarded as a city or town, or you're going to Osun State or Ife, or these are the dialects that you will hear. You know, so let's say somebody's praying for you, Iwure is happening, you know, prayers, good wishes. You would hear lots of that, especially if you're going for spirituality related reasons. Just in case you recognize the prayer from my teaching, but you don't recognize how it is said, it's important that I introduce this dialects to you. They are the ones that you would be hearing most apparently if you travel within the regions that I have mentioned. It's important that I mention them just so that you're not thrown off. Now, you don't need to learn each and every dialect. It's not a taboo if you speak the Oyo dialect in Ijebu, or you speak Ijebu in Lagos, in Eko, or you speak Abeokuta in Ife. It's not a taboo. And you hear people speaking dialects from different towns or regions in other parts, So don't fret like, oh, well, is this dialect the Ijebu dialect? Don't worry about that. And I'm not going to try to identify, oh, this is Ibadan, or that will make it extremely stressful. You don't need to. Not everybody can even speak their own dialect from where they're from, so don't worry. But just so that you recognize them, if the person that is praying for you says, oh, and I'll get there soon, or instead of Oma, or Wa, instead of Oma, as you will, and all these words that I've mentioned mean you will, just so that you don't fret like, oh, I know what the last part was, but that first part, what was that? I'm trying to introduce dialects to you for those reasons, just so that you're not thrown off, and just so that you know the different ways with which we say the exact same things. I've not made it terribly overwhelming. I just picked 4 dialects, the apparent dialects that you'll be hearing. I know that there are some people that have gone to Ijebu for, let's say, initiation. You don't have to, if you're not led down that path, or you don't have a strong conviction, you don't have to go get an initiation or something just to prove how Yoruba you are, and that would be another topic for another day. You don't have to. I feel like some people feel if they don't do that, then they're not truly Yoruba. Not everybody has to be a priest or priestess, but especially for those who are, or maybe not even necessarily, like I've said, there are a lot of our statements that start with I will, you will, they will, or I will not, you will not, which I will treat separately. These are just important, things to know or to note. So I'll go into each one of them next. Saying I will, you will, he or she or it will, we will, you in the plural sense, they will go something like this. When you say each one of these in different dialects. For I will, you might hear something like ma. Let's say you want to say I will eat. For example, eat is jẹun in Yoruba. In and of itself, it's je. But typically, what we eat is food. We eat things that are, I suppose, edible, so je, onje is what is typically combined and shortened to jeun. Onje is something eatable. That's what the word onje is. Food. Onje. Onje. On is something. Je is eat. Onjije really is food. It's shortened to onje. Then when you say eat food, you get je onje, or simply jeun. Je onje, or simply jeun. So if you want to say I will eat, you can say ma jeun. I will eat. Or in a different dialect, you can hear mo ma jeun. Bringing it to the prayers context, mo ma ṣe oríire, ma ṣe oríire, I will be successful. These are all prayers that I will cover, as we go on. So don't worry about the words for now. Nwo is another one. Nwo is another thing that you might hear. Ngo, 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 ngo jẹun, ngo ṣe oríire, ngo la àlùyọ, ngo rìnrìn àjò, you know. I will go on a journey. I will be victorious. I will, you know. Ngo is another dialect. You might even hear in, ma, mo ma, ngo, in jẹun, in rìnrìn àjò, in sorrow. I will talk. In sorrow, you know, ma, mo ma, ngo, in. These are all very popular ways of saying the exact same thing. Ma, mo ma, ngo, in. That is when you're saying I will. If you're saying you will, and you know, strictly you have to be talking to someone that is either younger than you or the same age as you, if you're going to use these pronouns, if you're going to say you will these ways, the person that you're talking to, it has to be one person, and the person has to be younger than you or the same age as you. They can't be older than you, basically. If they're older than you can't say this. Or if you're talking to multiple people, you can't say this. Wa is another way that you might say or hear you will. Wa, oma, o, same thing. Different dialects. Wa, oma, o, wa bá mi nílé. You will meet me at home. Oma bá mi nílé. You will meet me at home. O bá mi nílé. You will meet me at home. O bá mi nílé. You will meet me at home. 4 different ways of saying the exact same thing. There are 2 more that are worthy of note. If you go to places like Ibadan, you know, parts of Oyo State, you might hear O and O. So O and O. You might hear O and O. In addition to the previous 4 that I mentioned, O and O. So if they want to say you will go, let's say you will go, lo is go. O lo, you will go. O lo, you will go. Another 2 ways of saying the exact same thing. O jẹun, you will eat. O jẹun, you will eat. Tẹ̀lé wa is follow us. O tẹ̀lé wa, you will follow us. O tẹ̀lé wa, you will follow us. Their O is O in places like that. So if they want to say even other sentences like thank you, for example, instead of saying Oshe, they will say Oshe, Osheun, Oshe, Osheun. So another ways of saying the exact same thing. You'll find this in parts of present-day Osun State as well. The regions that are considered Osun State. Oshe, Oshe, you know, their O is O. O. 2 other ways of saying you will. Wa can also be considered an homonym because wa in dialects like that could be used in different contexts, could mean different things. So if you want to say things like you will then, let's say, do something, or wa, so wa instead of being you will be then in dialects like that. It will be then. Or wa lo, you will then go, let's say, or you will then eat. Or wa lo, or wa jẹun. Or wa lo, or wa jẹun. Or wa or wa jeun, wa lo. Wa would be then in cases like that. For he or she or it will, which means in this case you would either be discussing, not addressing. The you will be when you're addressing them. She or he or it will means you're now talking in the third person, so you will be discussing them. This is how you would say he or she or it will, which means you would either be discussing one thing or one person, regardless of the gender, that is younger than you or the same age as you. This is how you will be discussing one thing or one person that may be younger than you or the same age as you. They can't be older than you in certain places, or within certain contexts. If the person in question is not around, let's say, or because I've seen this a lot, I don't know if you put that under hypocrisy. Let's say there are children discussing, let's say, an older aunt or somebody that is maybe nasty, or just there's no adults there anyway to check them and say, why are you using that pronoun for your aunt or for your grandmother or something, or that person's grandmother. If it's just children discussing, they will sometimes use these pronouns, instead of saying something else, they would say this. They would address the person as if the person was younger than them or the same age as them. I have seen that a lot, Or I've seen people use these pronouns for people who are dead. Or I've even heard, not just seen, but heard people use these pronouns for people who are dead, or somebody, one person, it would be one person in this case, who is dead. So, at that point, they don't consider them human anymore. They don't think human type language really matters that much to them at that point. I mentioned earlier that in places like Ondo, it's okay. In parts of Ondo, it's okay to use the same pronouns for person, things, regardless of age and gender. If you go to places like Ibadan, where the Ibadan dialect is mostly spoken and age-based distinctions in pronouns are honored, intentionally using an age mate or junior pronoun, pronouns that you would use for your age mates or people that are younger than you, while addressing or discussing an older person, may be considered a means of insinuating that the person is childish or unworthy of undeserved honor. It is frowned upon and considered insulting, especially if one is addressing or discussing the person among people who do not share the same sentiment. One's greeting posture could be another way of expressing that feeling. However, many things are specific to the household or family in those regions, in any place, in any region. Báyìí là ń ṣe nílé wa, èèwọ̀ bòmíì ni. Báyìí ni à ń ṣe nílé wa, èèwọ̀ ibòmíràn ni. So how we do things in our own house might be a taboo in another person's. That's a very popular Yoruba saying. It means, even if we're all from Ibadan, let's say, how I will do things in my house will be different from how you may choose to do things in yours. And so it's best to be like the Oga. Some people, in some parts of Yoruba land, they say Oga. In some other parts, they say Agemo. And because, people from this town live in that town, you see people from Ibadan live in Oyo, and people from Oyo in Abeokuta, and people from Abeokuta in Isaleko. Education comes into play even with relocation as well. You might go to a university in Ibadan and you might be from Abeokuta, let's say the University of Ibadan. When you're done with your schooling, you may decide to stay in Ibadan permanently and build your family there. So there are many things that cause people to move around within Yoruba regions, and interestingly, education has been one factor. I will discuss that some other time. So you find people saying either Agemo or Oga in all parts of Yoruba land, words or ways of calling things, nouns for things, or even pronouns for things, moved around, so people just go with the flow, essentially. So you might say agemo, you might say oga, both work. When you say that, either of the two, people know what you're talking about, the chameleon. Or you might say alagemo, if you don't want to say agemo or oga, be like the chameleon. Wherever you are, adjust to how they do their own things. Go with the flow. These are not strict guidelines. So if you hear somebody use this pronouns for somebody that is older than them, don't worry. The skies will not fall down. It's what it is. She or he or it will. You can hear oma de. He or she or it will arrive. Let's say oma de, ade. Day is arrive, so basically these are things that you might hear. Your day is another one. Yo is another way of saying she or he or it will. Oma, yo, oma, yo, day, lo. He or she or it will go. Yi o lo, he or she or it will go. Oma lo, he or she or it will go. A lo, he or she or it will go. So these are all 4 different ways of saying the exact same thing. Are there more dialects? Yes. But these are the apparent ones for the regions that I discussed earlier. Then we will. For we will, you will hear We will go to the Osun festival. Lọ sí ọdún Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo. Lọ sí ọdún Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo. Or we will go to the Agẹmọ festival. Lọ sí ọdún Agẹmọ. Or you might hear a máa lọ. We will go. Lọ. It's another way of saying we will go. Debe. We will get there. Ao is another one that you might hear. Ao. Lọ. Máa lọ. Lọ. Ao lọ. 4 different ways of saying the exact same thing. They only differ by dialects. Ama, ao. There's one more. So I'm going to start from the beginning of the list. Ama, and ao, alo, amalo, alo. That's the one that I did not include earlier. Alo, then alo, then aolo, ama, and ao. For you will, in the plural sense. In this case, you would be addressing one person that is older than you, or 2 or more persons of any age. You'll be addressing one person that is older than you, or 2 or more persons of any age. You're addressing one person that is older than you, as if there were 2 persons present. Plural you. Emma, eo, rí mi, you will see me. Ẹ máa rí mi, you will see me. Ẹ ó rí mi, you will see me. Ẹ rí mi, you will see me. 4 different ways of saying the exact same thing. Ẹ máa, ẹ ó, rí mi, ẹ máa rí mi, ẹ ó rí mi, ẹ rí mi. Lastly, don't be confused. That is why I've not included more dialects, because even this 4 might be a bit confusing for people. So apart from just knowing or being familiar with the first 2, don't worry too much about trying to learn all the dialects that exist among the Yoruba people. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. At least as a beginner, don't do that to yourself. They will, for discussing 2 or more things, or one person, regardless of the gender, that is older than you, or 2 or more persons of any age. So for discussing any 2 or more things or persons, or discussing one person, regardless of the gender, that is older than you, the speaker. So the simple trick behind all of this really is, if you're addressing one person that is older than you, or discussing one person that is older than you use plural pronouns for them. If you're addressing one person that is older than you, or discussing one person that is older than you use plural pronouns for them. You treat them like they were 2 people, 2 or more people. They will. Jo, they will dance, let's say. Going back to dance. Jo, jo. You know, it's another way that you might hear that. So, ma, wo, I know that the last one might come off as a bit of a tongue twister, and when people are saying it fast, they typically go wo. You might say it that way as well. I suppose that would be like a 5th dialect, you know, wo. But when you're saying that fast, of course you say wo. So it almost sounds like wo, you know, but wo ma. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be delighted to answer. I know I always say that, and there are certain comments that I've missed. You know, perhaps they came in when I wasn't looking at my phone, or I just wasn't notified. Perhaps my phone was on silent. But if you have any questions, as soon as I see them, even if I see them 2 years from now, which probably won't be the case, I will respond. You know, I'm here. That is what I'm here for, to help. If you are still confused about what you just heard or what you just learned, don't be confused. By the time I start to combine them with verbs or use them in complete sentences, you know, you will realize how useful or how important this video is going forward, you know. So that will be that for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. If you still haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing so. There's such a small percentage of those who watch my videos that are subscribed to this channel, like under 10%. So that's really interesting. If you'd like to, please do so. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And again, let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you later.
Èmi ò ní kàgbà àjèsà ládé kojú kí mọ́mọ́ jòbí tó bá gbó. Yóò ní mọ́mọ́ sọ nígbà gbogbo ládé kojú ọmọ aródò dẹmúyán jẹ. Jẹ̀sà tó kún àlú ọmọ àrìn lọ́sìn. ọmọ elékùté yín lówù yìí ní fòkun bàbá mi àgbààgbà lówù yìí ní jẹta àdùnnú tán lówù yìí ní pọ̀ndánù ilé àwọn yèmí agbóyánpọ̀ oníwèye jẹta gbogbo láàánú ọmọ rẹ̀ lọ́sẹ̀ bàbá yèyé jọ aládé kojú yá nítorí pé wọ́n jẹ ẹgbẹ́ ni bàbá yèmí àbẹ̀níjó torí pé wọ́n jàkàrà bàbá aládé kojú.